and welcome back to another episode of Mona's Rants. I am your host, Mona Sheikh. You guys, very excited about my guest today because just a few moments ago, we were talking about one of my favorite things, weed, is what we were talking about. But let me make a proper introduction for my very wonderful guest today, okay? I am very excited to have him, mainly because he's a founder, he's an investor of Wake, venture capitalist. He's venture capital. He's an internet-enabled private equity. He has like 100 plus startups, and I think I'm just gonna bring him on so he can like toot his own horn. Here's my very amazing guest, Amit Rathore. How are you?
Hey, nice to be here, Mona. Very well, thanks. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I was first of all, thank you so much for doing this. I think a lot of people are always very anxious and curious about the Silicon Valley, the startup world. I think, I myself am in Los Angeles. I am very fascinated by the startup world. So, question, how long have you been in the entrepreneur startup world?
In Silicon Valley since 2007, officially, like doing startups and stuff like that. My first startup that was not here, not a real, what you would call by, Silicon Valley standards, was when I was, I think, 14 back in India, when I was writing, I don't know, I never admit this, but like Visual Basic software to do things for other people. So, it's been a long time. We've done a lot of different projects and, we just like to build stuff.
Right. I mean, did you have like a job and you were like, you know what? I don't want to work for anyone. I want to be an entrepreneur. Like, how did it even come about for you?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Growing up, I grew up in India, in Bangalore. So I always had, Silicon Valley dreams. I was always wanting to build cool stuff that would impact a lot of people. I mean, that's really what it is, because technology can impact so many people. So for me, it's just sort of being an engineer. My parents, both are, technical people. Just grew up in that sort of very engineering minded, very rational environment. And I guess that was, the seed. And I always wanted to come here. I wanted to do cool things, build cool things. And I ended up here in 2007 after being, in Chicago for like a number of years doing consulting, flying from, Monday to Thursday through those clients back and forth and doing all of that across the country, learning about so many different businesses. And then ending up here at Google, actually. 2008 was it, and pre-Chrome, helping them launch the Chrome project, the Chrome browser, Chrome, and then I didn't want to get sucked into the Google culture and the very nice everything, and I just wanted to like do the startup-y thing, and I was here, and I just quit. That
you don't like
I was with hard work.
You don't like comfort, Amit? Is that what you're saying?
I do. I love comfort.
You're like, that comfortable Google life. I don't want to get sucked into that.
I wanted comfort, but I wanted it on my own terms.
Got it. I mean, startup life is hard, right, Amit?
Extremely hard. I left in 2008 after many, many years of a very comfortable senior position where I was, right?
Yeah.
And I had the choice of whatever work I wanted to do, blah, blah, blah. And then you just totally, plunge into the deep side, into the deep end. And, and then I left I started in 2008, in May or something, it was, or August, I think. And September, Lehman Brothers collapsed. That was like the financial crisis.
I was there when Lehman Brothers collapsed. Right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'm a former finance girl.
It was a hard.
Yeah.
There you go. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. So we'll talk a lot about finance in this call, but that was a hard, as it is, startups are hard, as you know, but we went through that freeze, it was a pretty bad time. And in fact, I remember Sequoia, one of the famous investors out here, sent out this, deck, which got famous. It said, RIP good times. That was the deck that went out there. You got to batten down the hatches. That happened also, to like 18 months ago or whatever, like last year, maybe, I think it was. Everybody was sending out this, warning signs, and like everybody was like, so that's what's happened actually. Bizarrely enough, there's so much money sitting on the sidelines right now. There's just trillions of dollars just sitting around
right
now, even though we're printing and of course using and doing all that crazy stuff. There's actually private capital to the tune of trillions of dollars in the US and in Europe and so many other parts of the world that's just sitting
Where
because they're all
where
not
exactly is it sitting,
there.
and how do
What's
we
going to
get
happen?
access to it? Where exactly is it sitting, and how do we get access to it, Amit?
How do we get access to it? So first of all, how do we get access to it? I don't think about that question, right? Like I don't think about how to get access to other people's money. But where is it sitting? It's sitting in the top 0.1 or 0.01% of people's bank accounts.
Wow.
I know for a fact that there's $9 trillion, for instance, or something like that I heard was sitting in the Bank of America's books, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I don't know. I'm not, like I'm not an official guy, but I heard like they have, the people's money. It's like a corporate money. It's like, family money. It's everybody's money, everyone's wealth, money,
Mm-hmm.
cash, right? And right now,
Right.
everybody's scared. They don't know what's going to happen and all that. So they don't want to invest right now, right? They're just waiting and watching. And everything is going to, town in a handbasket right now. And everyone's obviously just waiting and watching. And that's not actually true. There's lots of people now moving in distressed assets because everybody's losing everything. It's a good time to
Right.
buy those assets. I mean, it's a huge
Mhm.
wealth transfer that's going on right now. And it's
Right.
astonishing. And of course, you must have heard of the Bitcoin story and just everything else that's going on with the
Sure.
digital assets and digital art and just all that stuff. So you see, the whole universe is right now gone a bit bonkers about what's going to happen. Everything is shaken,
Right. Right.
because of this recent pandemic.
Amit, you just mentioned there's a giant wealth, transfer of wealth that's happening. Would you say that during the pandemic, I mean, there's been like these studies that are coming out and the articles coming out about how the middle class has now even, there's so many people who have plunged into poverty because,
Yeah.
they had to take care of their families. I mean, so would you say during the pandemic, the wealthy have become wealthier? I mean, in the case of Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk.
It's I mean, it's not that the wealth. I mean, yes, that's the effect, right? It's a side effect. It's not that they did something,
Right.
right?
It's a side
It's
effect, right?
it's
Right.
it's just, so once we understand that's a side effect, there is no
Yeah.
like. So here's the thing. I gave money to Bernie Sanders during that previous run. Then I gave
Yeah.
money to what's his name. We obviously are not going to. Anyway, I don't want to get too political, right? But point
Yeah.
is that I don't do that anymore. I don't believe in either side because it's totally broken the system,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, we don't have to suddenly go and become Bernie Sanders and saying the billionaires are all bad,
Right.
because it's not something they're doing. See, as of right now, if you look at the world, there are all the people with money and then there are all the people without money. There are two ways to go about fixing the problem. One is to try and take it from somebody who has it and you give it to somebody who doesn't have it because you believe that the world is limited. And economics teaches us that it is, in fact, scarcity that drives the world, supply and demand, right?
That's right.
But the other
Mm-hmm.
way to fix it is abundance, which is that we can all create wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And the way to create wealth is by creating new things, not the old things. The old things require existing things, and
Uh-huh.
existing things are about the past. But the
Right.
future is not
Yeah.
about the past, right? We can create new stuff, and that will create wealth for everybody. And that's the very ethos of entrepreneurship. That I
Mm-hmm.
don't need the past doesn't hold me back
Right.
because now is what matters, and I'm able to create.
Right. To provide a need.
So to provide for a need. So if there's a need around me, if I service that need, I create value, and that value is wealth.
That's correct. That's correct.
So,
Um.
and if you're saying that everybody needs something right now, and if you look at the numbers, right, 1 in 3 by some estimates, kids right now in the US are food insecure, means hungry basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in America, just let's get this right, yeah, in the biggest economy in the world,
Right.
the kids are hungry, 1 in 3.
That's crazy.
Isn't that you? I mean, you tell me what type of developed economy it's supposed to mean in practical terms, not in terms of definitions and posturing and where the money goes here, there, wars, that, blah blah blah. All that, keep it all aside. Just talk about there is a pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and in the world's biggest economy, 1 in 3 children are hungry.
We Take them to McDonald's?
You can do anything, but they're hungry right now. But nothing is being done, right? Effectively, we talk a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And we argue about capitalism and socialism and all this nonsense, whereas the kids are hungry right now.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So the
I
need, you
mean,
said there is a
yeah,
need. You see, if there is a need, you can service the need and make value. So there is
right.
need all around. Everywhere you see people have need right now. Where
Mm-hmm.
is there no need? So that means there is only value everywhere to be found and unlocked.
Okay. I mean, so I guess we can also use the same logic to make the argument about homelessness, right? People, I mean, are now more homeless than ever before. We have an entire neighborhood in downtown Los Angeles called Skid Row.
I know.
Never in 10 years of my life have I lived here. You go on the freeway on this as you're getting off the exit, you have homeless people with like their tents and you're like, I've never seen this before. You go through bridges, under the bridges, filled with homeless people. Where did all these homeless people come from? Why can California, fifth largest economy in the world, we can be our own freaking country if we wanted to, can't provide for its people? How's that even possible?
Right. This is a simple question that I'm posing, right?
Right.
And of course, not only am I posing, but Awake VC's basis is the solution to this problem. And the problem was created partly by, of course, politics and stuff like that. Another problem was exacerbated in the last 10, 15 years by big tech, what is called as big corporations. I mean, I shouldn't really call it big tech, big companies, you know? And I
Right.
shouldn't even call it big companies. Let me rephrase that, because I actually don't have a problem with big companies. You know, I'm going to talk to you about the biggest company that's ever going to be created, but it's the business model that I have a problem with,
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't add value to everybody that is connected to it.
Right. Right.
You know,
It's
just
designed in a way to just serve the top 1% or 5% or whatever that top is.
very little, 1%, right? So if you take Uber, for example, which was very awesome in the beginning and gave jobs to so many drivers and things like that, if you ask them now, they hate it, right? They've always hated it for the last 2, 3, 4 years for a variety of reasons. And but if you look at the numbers of the company, it's continuously showing losses. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and continuously, it's you're a finance background. It's just accounting, right? In the end,
That's
right?
right.
Nobody would finance. No smart person like from Wall Street would come in and finance something that they're not going to make money on. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Right.
if you're telling me that make money if they show you the accounting and say, oh, we can't pay the drivers more because we don't make money. Come on, that's a joke, right? Like that's an accounting gimmick, right? Like
Right.
if I make $100 and spend it, and
Yes.
and then I borrow also and I spend more based on that $100 that I earned, I'm in loss. But I just spent $105.
That's
Like what are you
right.
talking about,
Right.
right? So the cash flow is not a problem. Okay, it's the greed and not wanting to give others things, basically,
That's right.
which means that it's a business model problem, right? It's just that, nothing else.
So,
Because
Amit,
otherwise,
yeah, but America is a capitalistic country, right? That's what we pride ourselves on.
yes,
We say we're a capitalistic nation. And in capitalism, the top dog, the one who has the smartest, most cunning way of getting the money wins. And everybody
right,
else basically fuck off,
right.
right? That's capitalism.
I'll tell you two things to that, right? The first is that first of all, where does a society fit into this country model? Capitalism, pure capitalism, the way you described it. A
Right.
society is something different. The word social is in the word society, right? So you have to think about other people when you think about society,
Right.
And in the definition of capitalism you just gave, it's not the way we're talking about it. It's the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go by just that definition, then the
Yeah.
word society doesn't apply. What applies is the word jungle. And in the jungle, the biggest, and the most ferocious wins.
Yes, the
So
concrete
we
jungle.
can
I live
say,
in New York City. They call it the concrete jungle. They call it that for a reason.
right. So you can now choose whether it's called that because of the concrete structures that look like tall trees, or whether we want to live in an actual mentality of, the jungle mentality where everyone's like evolutionarily created to like watch out for themselves and like just be ready to be eaten alive by the next moving, blur. Okay.
Right.
Now, is that the world we live in today? Or is that something that we've evolved from and we don't need anymore? You
I
see,
think
the
that's a
evolutionary impulses,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at the market crash in 2008. That's greed. Even the pandemic, even what you see. Again, I know you don't want to get political. I mean, I definitely want to get political, but it
Go for
is.
it. I mean,
I
I
think
was just,
it's a big deal. I mean, the Republicans didn't want to even approve the stimulus package. They're like, yo, fuck the middle class. They're like, let them suffer. Why are we paying for this, right? Putting in bullshit different bills in there, trying to like accommodate like different kind of funding. Like, you're just like, you don't want to help the middle class out? I mean, middle class is the backbone of this country. So if the middle class tanks, you tank. So I don't understand.
Yeah, so and I agree with that. And we have to solve for capitalism in this country. We have to fix capitalism because capitalism is the only thing that can solve capitalism. Okay.
Huh.
So what I mean by that is so Awake is creating a new form of capitalism. And you can call it, the most extreme form of capitalism ever created.
Okay.
Okay. Or you can think of it like socialism.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So the way you think about it. Because
Okay.
what we're about to do is, and it's already live in a few verticals, like over 40 plus networks around the world are launching as we speak, including in the US and a couple, it's familiar. And one of them is in the cannabis industry, by the way. It's, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
But see, I've been in this whole big tech, whatever the nonsense space is called for a while. And I understand very, very, very deeply how the internet works. Okay.
Mhm.
What does that mean? Internet. If I say internet, people think Facebook and Google and things like that. Okay. But if you take away these companies, like if you take away Facebook, take away all the big networks, you're still left with something.
Yeah. I mean, you still have a lot of, virtual places you can go to.
No. I say if you remove all the websites and all the networks that are out there, you're still left with the internet, because the internet is not the networks that are out there. The internet is the internetwork of
Yes.
all other networks. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So what people don't see, and what we have seen, and what we have built on this particular set of patented technology, is just like how Google had created really crazy stuff because of the way they index the whole internet. They understand it. They can search it. They can, find stuff for you. So that's a very powerful thing. Just like that, we also index the internet in a very unique way. But not only do we know where what is and all that stuff, we are able to tell who is clicking on what stuff. Okay. Now, this is a very important thing, because
Okay.
today, let me tell you, when you're an internet marketer, and everyone's an internet marketer, right? If you buy advertising, advertising today, conversion rates are at 1% in general, dropping because everyone's going online. So that pressure is on, So conversion rate means if you get 100 people to your website, one person buys.
Wow.
And this is the general thing. Now, okay, this is the number. So normally what happens, you have to buy advertising, right? And what happens? You go to Facebook and you buy ads. You buy 100 clicks, basically, let's say.
That's right. You pay for
When you buy 100 clicks, let's say $1 a click. So I spend $100 on Facebook ads. I get 100 people to click on it. And I know based on statistics, I'll get at least one buyer, right? So I get a buyer. Now let's assume that my ticket item is $1,000 or $500 or whatever. So I spent $100 and I got back, $500, out of which, 400 came to me. And maybe the cost of the item was whatever, 300, and I made $100. Okay, so I double this, not 100. The numbers are wrong, so maybe it's a bit more. So you get the point. I'm spending some money, and I'm getting some money back.
Yes,
that's the business model of every single company today.
Right.
But what's missing and what's never realized is that you paid for 100 clicks, and they only told you about one click. What happened to the other 99?
Yeah, what happened to the other 99?
You have to, right, what happened to the other 99? And first of all, you have to take their, word for it that they were 99. What if there weren't 99? What if there were only 9? And they just say there's 99. How do you know?
You mean they're rigging the system?
How do you know that they're not, right? Simple question.
100%.
See, you paid for 99 clicks, right? And they're saying that these are the 100 clicks. Now they said it. Why don't you give me the list of people? I paid for it, right? I gave you the ad content. So I gave you my content. I paid for it. You showed it to people. Tell me who they were.
They won't do that.
But they don't tell you.
That's correct.
So this particular thing is the problem of the walled gardens. You see, they've created walled gardens. They're called walled gardens.
Mm-hmm.
Each network, like Facebook or Google and all these things, they're called They're all their own kingdoms, basically. They've taken the one internet, which is the internet network of all networks, and which is supposed to benefit everybody and allow everyone to, come together and become a single global village and buy from each other, sell from each other, make money together, all that fun stuff that was meant to happen.
Yeah.
Where did it go? Right?
Yeah.
Using
I don't know
this
where.
data hiding effect, right? Using this data hiding effect, they are now charging you 100 times for what should be the one click, right? The one click is what you actually want for that sale.
That's right.
Right, that specific sale. But
That's
they're
right.
charging you 100 times that, not one time, every day, and from everyone.
But
Right?
okay, so let's talk about. So if per click is, let's say if it's $1 a click, just to make it easy, right? If it's
Right.
$1 a click, and they say, well, 100 people clicked on your stuff, but only one person bought it, right? So you gave them the $100, right? But they're like, so
Right.
you basically just got $10 back for your $100 investment. Am I understanding this?
It depends on the price of the item, right? You wouldn't spend $1 per click for something that was super cheap, right? But suppose you were selling something that cost $10,000 and you were going to make 30% of that. You were going to make $3,000. Now you're happy to spend $100 on ads to drive one sale, right? So it all depends on this math. So people are like, what? They're all doing the same math, right? So everyone's doing the math saying, boss, as long as I make money, I'm ahead. Right. So everyone's ahead now. Whoever's got money to spend and to pay upfront, 100 times more than what you should. Okay, and more and more and more every day, because every ad prices are going up. Everyone's doing it, and Facebook's like laughing all the way to the bank, as is Google and every other network.
Right.
And who is not winning? All the people, okay, who are losing their jobs and everything else that's happening. Plus all the businesses like DoorDash is eating all the restaurants alive. It's ridiculous. They're supposed to help you. These big internet companies are what? Like big internet, big boy, big brother, right? We'll come and help you. Bada hua to kya hua? You see?
Right.
What is the point? You're a big guy. So what? Did you help anybody, or did you just like take everything for yourself? Whoop-de-doo, right? Like you were big, you took it.
Right,
is
but
that
it goes
supposed
back
to be
to that.
surprising?
Right, but it goes back to that greed mentality that you and I were talking about capitalism, right? I mean, greed is, you remember when Wall Street came out, the original Wall Street, and there's a very famous line in there where he's like, greed is good, right? That is what's encouraged in a capitalistic society. Greed is good. Greed is not to be frowned upon. Greed is to be encouraged and even celebrated.
Unfortunately or fortunately, it can be seen in any way what we are about to do. You see, this magic that they have, this 99 people that are not being talked about, and nobody knows who they are. If there was a technology that could find out who are these 99 people in any given situation, what happens, No more.
They hate you is what happens, Amit. They hate you.
They hate, of course. That, of course. Yes, but that, of course, that's a given, right? If anybody challenges their, it's going to be a problem. But we have just created and launched the technology, and up and down the thing is the patents that essentially unravel this 99% data hiding.
Right.
32 years, nobody has able to figure out what is called the attribution problem, which means how does the sale happen? Somebody made a sale, one person bought, right? You bought lots of clicks. You bought it on all the different platforms. You bought it on Facebook and Twitter and this and this and this and all these different things. Now somebody bought. How are you supposed to know which dollar went into this particular sale? Like you got a bunch of sales and you spent a bunch of money. No way to match it. Because these people don't share the 99% information. Right? And there's no way to crisscross and match the customer's journey across these networks. So each network, as in social network, so to speak, is its own little kingdom, right? They're not showing anything to each other. And if anybody is able to see through it, you see, the whole walls come crashing down.
Right,
okay?
Of course. Don't you think that?
What happens?
Yeah, what happens then, Amit? Please do tell.
What happens with Awake VC at least is our technology is for the benefit of everybody. We give the software away for free.
Okay.
We then redistribute for you're a CFO, right? On average, 40% of the internet economy is flowing through big tech today. including
Right.
app stores, transactions, customer acquisition costs, blah, 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 payment structure, etc., etc. On
Sure.
average. So it could be 50. Walmart will take 70 from you. If you want to list your stuff on their shelf, you want your cosmetics brand or something, you get into their shelves, they'll take 80% from you of
Wow.
retail. Right. So I mean, this is sharks. I mean, you're not playing with the small guys. They'll say, go and make it up elsewhere. We're giving you exposure. They'll
Mm-hmm.
crush your down to because you're good. They'll say, make me 5 million units at basically zero margins. And
Right.
you're desperately saying, of course, I'm going to do anything to be in Walmart,
That's
right?
right.
And what are you going to do? Like, go make it up elsewhere. I mean,
Right.
like, isn't that
Right.
crazy? Okay,
Right.
so this is the situation. These big guys are taking between 40, 30 to 50, 60%
Oof.
of other people's businesses.
Wow.
More, right? That's how it works. That's the math, right? Because of retailer, distributor, wholesaler, all those chains.
Sure.
So all the middlemen, of course, and of course the big guys get the most.
Mm-hmm.
What our technology does is it unravels the whole thing. Nobody cares which platform it's on. The people are identified
Okay.
on the internet.
Okay.
And we directly pay them the 40%. We keep only 5%. We pay everyone 35% of the internet economy. People, regular people. They can start getting jobs. People in India are getting 20,000 rupees. Ladies who are just sharing stuff on, like Avon ladies, they're sharing stuff on the phone. Suddenly, everyone's an entrepreneur, you see?
Mm-hmm.
You don't even need an investment, no capital investment. Everybody's products are connected.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's social media accounts are connected. Everybody connects everything.
Yeah.
And it's all secure. And now we're able to track everything, you see? And everybody's just collaboratively coming together to do business.
Right. Right. My super fan James here said the current tracking algorithms aren't perfect. Sometimes I buy a product online and will then get ads for it for another week. That's a waste of advertising money, right?
Absolutely. Because of the existing technologies, it's all a mishmash. Everyone's got their own tech. Everyone's like trying to do their own thing. It's a total, like a wasteland of data
Mm-hmm.
and all like people are trying to mix and match and this and that. So nobody really has any true data. It's all like, so it's total waste. I mean, if I'm a marketer, to his point, right? Like, I mean, am I really getting my money's worth?
No,
Even
absolutely not.
after they buy the damn thing is getting spent and my budgets are getting spent and people are for shown ads. Well, what kind of nonsense is that? Why are you wasting my money? I should, as a brand, I should ask them that, right? Like the agency that put those ads, or if
Mm-hmm.
it's some AI or Facebook is doing it, whoever's doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you stop in the moment the thing guy buys it?
That's
Very
right.
simple, right? So the question is, because everybody is so separate, fragmented, you see, everyone's got their own
Right.
tech. Okay, so they can't talk, they don't really know what's going on. You can't track it so real time. That's why Amazon is so freaking powerful, or Apple is so insanely powerful, and Facebook and Google, because they have their own ecosystem that basically covers billions of people seamlessly across all their stuff. So they're much more real time within their, like, you won't have this problem within Facebook's ecosystem, but it will happen outside because of this fragmentation. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that's because there is no infrastructure that manages this fragmentation. Okay, it's the nature of the beast, you can think of.
That's right.
However, Awake's technology fixes this fragmentation. Just
Okay.
like what they did in the first go around, they split the internet into pieces. Everybody got their own kingdom, right? Everyone's like their own big tech. What we do is we combine everybody into a single network. Fusion reaction.
Okay. So, Amit, you
So
mentioned you mentioned this one thing about walled gardens. You called them. So,
yeah,
if the like giant companies like Amazon and Google and Facebook, if they're not letting you in their walled garden, how are you going to be able to go and get access to the information?
very good question. Very simple. Because when you log into Awake, and then you post a product link or anything else on any other network,
Mm-hmm.
you get paid when sales happen. We
Okay.
give you a digital wallet, just like PayPal, and you will literally get up to 30, 40% of the order value, no matter what the order is, through our networks, because you were involved in the sale by just putting links out there, sharing them on Facebook, TikTok, anywhere. And this is not only like a regular affiliate model where you get links and you paste it. The problem with that old model, like I just said, it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? The affiliate model doesn't work. Everybody knows about affiliate marketing. Why don't they do it? Because no one gets paid. And why don't they get paid? because of the data hiding effect. You see, if I'm very good at affiliate marketing, I'm very good, I have a great podcast or some nice thing like you have, and I put a link out for a product, and I have a small network. So if 100 people click on it every day on LinkedIn, say, by the statistics we just went through, even though I'm doing such a great job, 100 people, I have a network of 100 people. Every day they click on my link that I put out there. How many times do I get paid? Only one time. Because of the the buying thing. So they only can track that last click because you can't track the 99. So nobody likes affiliate marketing because no one gets paid by it appropriately. Plus, it uses cookies, third-party cookies, which are going to be totally destroyed by Apple in this whole war with Google and all that, which is the right thing to do anyway. However, Apple, of course, becomes it's a war of now moving from third-party data, which is this everyone's sharing, trying to do some crazy stuff, to first-party. Everyone's trying to get their own data right now. It's the new war. It's about to start, and it has started.
Yeah.
So this is the world we live in. Okay, that's the answer to your question.
That's the world we live in. Sorry. So a little bit more detail about that. So you have you're like, hey, I'm trying to get access to everybody's inside information about who are the people that they're exactly marketing to, and why is it that out of 100 people it's only one person who clicks, and then the rest of the 99 people, we're going to go and find out exactly who these people are.
Now, the reason we do that is because eventually they're going to buy something. See, most people, they don't buy right away.
Right.
Okay. It's just that, look, Mona, you did a great job in, influencing the sale. Just that they're not going to buy right now. They might buy a week later, a month later. They might even talk to a couple other folks and then buy. So in other words, it might take 2 or 3 touches for someone to make, it may take 4 or 5 touches or 6 touches, depending on the product.
Right. They may have to go sell a kidney. They have to sell a kidney. They have to go rob a bank, whatever it takes. Sure. We get it.
It takes time. Right. So now this multi-touch problem is not solved on the internet because we don't know the 99%. So that means I don't know who this multi-touch attribution can be allocated to. Right. I just know the last click. Oh, this person, Mona's link was put there. And this one person clicked on it out of like 100, and then he bought it. And I know she should get paid for it. Great. But these other 99 people, maybe some of them buy tomorrow, and then some of them buy a week later, and then you should get paid for some of those sales. See, you should get paid for every single legitimate click that eventually leads to a sale, and no one can track this because no one is sharing data. Now, if I track this, I pay everybody for all the clicks because I know everybody's sales and I know everybody who was responsible across the internet, on TikTok, on Twitter. And the first touch happened on TikTok. A week later, the second touch happened on YouTube, and then the third day somebody else put it on some other platform, WeChat. They texted you or sent an email or put it on a news article or whatever, and then they bought the following day. All 3 people get paid in perfect allocation and based on rules. So and we are giving 20, 30, 40, 50%, not like some nonsense affiliate marketing, 5%, 6% like Amazon gives. This is the future of direct to consumer internet marketing, and it makes everybody an entrepreneur, billions of people, and they can now start to just earn money by sharing stuff online or creating content. This was the original design of the internet, but it was hijacked. And what did they do? They took all this money. Now, what am I doing? It's not that I'm being Robin Hood. Of course I am. We're taking from somewhere and giving to somebody, but it's an abundance mindset. This is the world's biggest company, the fastest growing network of networks of networks. It's a fractal, and everybody connects for free, you see? This is the internet we're talking about. Nobody has really figured out what is the internet. We are just the internet, internetwork. We are the network of all other networks.
Got it. How did you come up with the name Awake, Amit?
Because I woke up.
Because you woke up. Oh, so you're part of the woke culture, Amit.
I don't know about any sort of culture. For me, it was, I was totally a rational human being growing up. And then after I sold my first company, it was like a bit of a shit show in my life. And I kind of went through this whole sideways journey for a while. And I questioned a lot of things about my own sort of belief system, to the point where I didn't let go of this bizarre question that occurred to me. Because I was kind of depressed. And I, asked myself at one point, I said, am I dreaming or awake? And to be honest, this question had come before, over bottles of wine and weed, and you smoke and you talk and you do all those things with friends and family. And then you go back to work the next day. But I didn't have anything to do. I was depressed. So I kept thinking about it. And I came to the conclusion that I didn't know the answer. I couldn't
Mhm.
convince myself that I knew whether I was awake or dreaming right now. And because of that questioning, I eventually discovered, the nature of reality, consciousness, meditation. I discovered a lot of religious stuff. I never, growing up was totally non any of those things. And then I
Mm.
discovered what is meditation. I discovered, and in that process, something crazy happened, which I can only call an awakening, which is not of any nature other than of seeing reality in a different way, or in a way that was always there but not seen. you know
Uh,
so that something is what I am.
Awake. For me, it
Awake.
takes two
And
cups of coffee. Yeah.
it
How
stands
about
for
two cups?
awakened value co-creation.
Got it. Got it.
And we are basically all about a global network of entrepreneurs,
Right.
bankers, financiers, engineers, and just about everything you can think of. Because with us, everybody connects for free and everybody makes value together. Every single click, every single action on any network at all.
Right. Right. I mean, awake is your, I guess, your main focus, but you have been involved in over 100 startups. I mean, I was looking at your LinkedIn. You're a founder and CEO of ShopType. You are a board member of News Type, board member of Co-Venture Cap, board member of Spiritful. Do you sleep, or that's literally your life awake?
It's literally my life away.
You just
So
work.
basically,
Yeah. How many hours do you put in every week? 80 to 100 hours work?
I mean, to be honest with you, it's like, see, you asked if I sleep, and I said I'm awake. And the real answer is it's actually like a dream,
Uh-huh.
which means that you appear to be doing a lot, but in fact are sleeping, but with full awareness of what is happening.
You sound like Deepak Chopra right now.
I'm just telling you the exact reason why it's called awake. We see, because once you realize what you are, you realize that everything is you. You're connected. There's only one universe. There's the reality of all of us as a single network. And the
Yes.
internet has already shown us that there is something that connects everything. It's called the internet. Why
That's
are we
right.
like struggling so much? Right?
Yes.
So the fundamental internet is already here. All we do is reveal it to everybody. Even when there is no Facebook and no Google, still there is the internet. Just
Right.
like that, when there is no body and no world, still there is the spirit. That
Hmm.
spirit is evident to you when you sleep. Nobody is there, still you're there.
That's right. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you were talking about entrepreneurship. You were like, everybody's an entrepreneur. You're like everybody, you just go and click and, get this virtual wallet. Can entrepreneurship be taught? Or is this something that people are just kind of born that way?
I think it can be taught, because it's nothing special. We've made it a big deal. But if you go to India, everybody is an entrepreneur. You can, because they're all doing something to get by. That's all it is. You have to make money. It's
Right.
cash flow, right? You have to eat. If you come to the valley, they will teach you what is all the wrong thing about entrepreneurship. You see, because it's not a real society here. This is not a real economy if your people can't eat. It's not a
Right.
real economy at all. What is it called? It's called, what is the difference between this and North Korea? If your people can't eat and they're all struggling and crying and dying, and riots are happening and all that, what is it called? Simply you say on TV, it's this, it's that, it's that. I mean, I'm a citizen, don't get me wrong, and I love this country and all that stuff, and we're doing this just to save it. We have to save humanity from itself, capitalism from itself. So with one click now, everybody gets the promise of the internet. And what
Mm-hmm.
is the internet promise? Access to capital, access to know-how, access to people, access to the market, and an opportunity to be yourself and to be, able to take care of yourself and your family and all that stuff. It's not complicated. We don't have to make it a big deal, entrepreneurship. The chai wala at home, the down the street, is an entrepreneur, much more successful than half the people here who've never sold a shit in their lives. Are you kidding me?
That's right. That's
Right? So
right.
like, so entrepreneurship is wherever you see. You see, wherever you see
Mm-hmm.
is entrepreneurship, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
not. It's nowhere not to be found. It takes extra talent and laziness to not want to do anything by yourself and make and depend on others.
Right, right. That's so interesting you said that. When I was growing up in Pakistan, when you stop at the red light, you have these kids or these, young people or
Right.
even older people who sell you flowers and they sell you whatever, balloons, or they're entrepreneurs. there's a term for them. They
Aren't
are
they?
straight up
You
entrepreneurs.
tell
That's
me,
exactly
people
who they are.
here who are absolutely people here who are complaining all this entitled nonsense. And by the way, I'm an independent, registered independent now, and I was,
Me
and
too.
I swing both
Me
ways,
too. I'm at high five.
and
Yeah, me
right,
too.
high fives, right? I'm done with this whole thing. I think there should be more parties, and I'm going to be investing in technology to launch parties. Anyone
Okay.
can launch a party with one click,
Okay.
because what is there to be a party? It's easy. So we need to encourage more political participation, and it's education. People are not educated here.
That's correct. That's correct.
Education is totally short,
That's
right? If you
correct.
look at the numbers, it's short. And if you ask somebody to do, you go into even the fast food joint or anywhere, and you do some math, is not possible. Math is, it's like you give them a $20 bill. It's like some Herculean task has happened now. It's like, how much change should I give? It's like, this is like a scientist has to be called in. You see?
Yeah. They're
Right?
definitely
I mean,
busting out
what?
their iPhones and the calculator. I mean, they're lost. They're lost for
I mean,
sure.
it's totally. I mean, you're kidding. This is like a total. I mean, are you? And now these people are so-called taken advantage of by the people who know math. I mean, you said earlier this is a capitalist society, so this is like chumps. Let's go let's go and attack all the chumps that don't get it, right? And then let's make it worse. Let's cut back on all the
Yeah.
smart stuff that you can teach these people, and then
Sure.
just teach them, by the way, that they're all like depressed and repressed, and they're all minorities, and they're all colored, and they're all like they must need reparations, so sad, right? And then you make them believe it, right? And then they
Hmm.
start asking for it, because hell, they've forgotten that no one cares. They can just go out there and start a business and become the next whatever,
That is true.
because they do that in India. They don't have this whole thing about going around and asking for handouts. It's not about that. I'm happy to give. Like, we're going to take from this 40%, and we're going to give it to anybody who has an internet connection.
Yeah.
It's not about that, but this is about realizing what it is that you are, and what you
Yeah.
need to do. What action has to be taken. Karam karo, what
Right.
action has to be taken
Right.
to do something, not just wait there and hope that somebody else does it.
Right.
Right?
When you were just referring to handout, I mean, what are you referring? Are you referring to welfare? Are you referring
Anything
to
in
what are you referring?
America, if you tell me you have to go to the government here and say it's not fair, please give me something, do you not think that it's absurd when all these people are coming from outside and can start thousands of businesses and immediately get up and running, and all these other people are saying, oh, you took my job? You're already here. You could take the job then. Right? Like, I mean,
Right.
what are
Oh
you
no,
talking about?
that's a ridiculous argument, right? When somebody comes out and says, "Well, these immigrants are coming and taking your job," well, you must not be very good at yours, but that's why they're coming and taking it. I mean,
Or
I don't know if
start
you
something and then hire them, right?
sure,
Like, here's cheap
100%,
labor. Go ahead and, like,
100%,
so that's what I mean. But America is meant to be capitalist, right? It's not, is it not? What
sure,
happened to the capitalism then?
sure. But
Why are we asking
But
for?
we also have a social. So the thing is that although people in Americans look at America as like, oh, we're a capitalistic country, but we also have a giant socialist side to us. I mean, the roads that you drive on, the lights in the streets that stay on, that's because the taxpayers' money, like you and I, the taxpayer money that went in, that
Totally,
is what's it on. The high schools.
totally.
I don't have
I
kids.
agree.
I don't know if you have kids. My
I
brother
do.
calls me up. He lives in Texas. He calls me up. He's like, I don't have kids and they're fucking taxing me to death, man. He's like, I gotta pay for somebody's kids to go to school, right? He's like, I don't have kids. I don't know if I'm having kids, but I gotta pay for somebody. I'm like, right. But the truth is that somebody also paid for you, right? Somebody before us paid into those taxes so I can go to high school and my brothers can go to high school. So I was like, so this is in a way a form of paying forward.
I mean, look, the issue is how much do you pay and how much do you get back? If it was a private company doing the same job, right? What is it that you would get for these services? So there's services, and then there's the social net. Two different things, right? The
Mm-hmm.
services should be run like a regular company,
Sure.
and then the services which are not meant to be run as a company can be run by the government as a non-company, right? But you're clubbing everything, right? Now you're bloody going around and hiring people and printing money, and like you're gonna run these projects. Are you kidding me? You don't know how to take care of anything. No. I mean, don't get me started, right? The cash flows don't make sense, right? But you
Mhm.
can fix the problem by creating value. You don't need to print, but you need to create value. You can print, but you must have a plan to create value so it offsets the printing and then brings jobs back in a way that turns the economy back into like major action, so that the debt ratios and the future growth rates and all that stuff all make it okay. And somehow we start paying it down. Or we fundamentally move out of this US dollar denominated economy. And by the way, it's looking like it's happening, as you can see. Okay.
Mhm.
And that's really, really scary. If you that, I mean,
You
if
mean
the
moving
dollar
out of
starts
it
to
into
wave,
Bitcoin? Are you talking about referring to Bitcoin moving out of the US? Is that what you're
I
referring
don't
to?
believe that the Bitcoin is the future. Okay, I don't believe that at all. Okay, because I know that it's a wonderful trade. It's going to be lots of billionaires, trillionaires made here, whatever. But it fundamentally does not produce value. Okay, if
Mm.
you're looking for value, it must return you, and it's you're a CFO. What is the dividend it provides?
Not a
Zero.
CFO, but thank you. No, I'm a finance person. But yes,
Right.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay, what is the return it provides? Income. Zero. No return is provided by keeping this asset. It's not an asset, therefore. Okay,
Mm.
an asset means it gives you a return, right? What else is called an asset? So don't call it an asset, right? It's just an imagined idea that will somehow inflate. That's called playing the, what is that called? Merry-go-round, game that
Right.
it keeps passing hands until it doesn't, right? It's like, what? I got stuck with it last because there was nothing in it in the first place. It was just an idea, hoping that it'll go up, hoping that it'll go. Now, on the other hand, tomorrow, if there's a better technology or equal technology, but instead the Bitcoin people start this new Bitcoin, some other Bitcoin, awake cash. If we start to pay everybody 5%, 10% of every transaction that it's powering this money, that means you're getting a return now. You're getting a bit of the money that's coming back from every transaction on the network of networks global. Now, that's the same technology. It's the same basic principle and the basic idea and everything else. But it actually has a use. It's like you can go and use it to buy milk and other things. And so can you with Bitcoin. So if that's the case, then what is the intrinsic value of Bitcoin? Why is it $50,000? Why not $1? Because in any case, you're going to buy milk, which is X number of Bitcoin. So if the price is determined by what you're going to buy on the other side, then there is no value in the goddamn currency in the first place. That's what they said about US dollar to start with, right? So
Mhm.
what argument are they standing on? You got it.
I see what you're saying. James here has another question. He said, doesn't Mr. Rathore's idea invite the government to turn it into a public utility?
And I don't know exactly what he means by it into the public utility, but if it is some sort of a Bitcoin-like system, and absolutely, I mean, there's digital dollar and China's dollar. I mean, China, whatever it's called, renminbi, and India is talking about a dollar, so own currency, the digital currency. So every country is going to do it now because if nobody wants, I mean, cash will eventually go away, whatever. So, but in general, that because already it's digital. Actually, when they print money, they're not like going out there and actually printing cash. They're literally just writing something in the database in the Federal Reserve. When they say they print is $1.9 trillion, it's just an entry in the database, right? It's just literally it's digital money already, right? It's just called fiat money
They're
because
not actually
US
printing.
government.
They're not actually printing US dollars. I mean, that was my understanding.
They call it printing because it's like you have it in your books now. It's like as if it's printed. But most transactions are credit card, no? For example, you don't actually need physical cash, right?
That's
Like
true.
you may go through life never seeing a bill, right? Like if you're living in some countries around the world, even though there is cash in the world. So in
Sure.
fact, currencies are not fully printed. There's only a small percentage that's actually printed. So when they say printing 1.3, and now I just saw today they're going to print another 3 trillion for infrastructure projects, they say. But whatever, they're printing. All of this is just an entry in the database. In other words, it's already digital cash. Okay. The books are digital, they're not like keeping tally on paper. So that means everything is settling digitally. It just takes time because of archaic systems and blah, blah, blah. But Bitcoin and other technologies like it changed the way we track it. It's just a tracker. It's just a ledger. It's just a
Right.
bookkeeping system.
Right.
A bookkeeping system has no value. It's like saying that this bank is currency is better than this bank's currency. I mean, they're both currencies. You're going to buy milk, which is priced at 10 rupees or $10. So what difference does it make which currency you're going to use, right? Like, I mean, you understand. So
Right.
in the end, this is a foolish joke. Okay, and the Bitcoin guys also know it. Nobody knows who they are, but it's like a big joke, but because there's nothing in the currency, it's a joke,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Just
but
like the US dollar has nothing.
yeah, but when you're talking about value about currency, right? You and I know whether it's the Indian rupee or the Pakistani rupee, right? The US dollar holds more value than the Indian or the Pakistani rupee.
Why is that? Let's understand why that is. Why is that? Why would you rather keep your so-called cash now in reserves in the US dollars rather than say Pakistani rupees or Indian rupees? Why is that? The reason is that this tends to retain its value more in the foreign exchange market. So you will always have more buying power if you're holding a stronger currency over time. So it has more resilient to inflation and so on. But why is that so for US dollar compared to other currencies? And the answer is because of the US economy. And what is that economy? It's the total market, the GDP, the
Mm-hmm.
total, if you count up everything, the possible business that America does, if you add it all up, is the biggest. So
Right.
everybody wants to come into business here, knowing that this will be a liquid market, right? Everybody does business here. It's good laws. It's got great this thing. It's got law. It's got good tax rates and all that stuff. So everybody wants to come and put their companies here. They want to make this their center and all that stuff, right? So that is why the native currency of this market, where everybody wants to come, not because of the currency, but because of the market.
Right. That's right.
If
That's right.
tomorrow, okay, they come here because, but it happens to be that this is the native currency of this market. So therefore, you'll take that currency. Tomorrow, if it was that they had 5 currencies, which one would you choose? They're all the same. But if one never had debt, you would be like, damn, I'll go for the one that doesn't have debt, right?
That's right.
So,
That's right.
uh,
That's right.
so this is what we're talking about. We lay it bare. You see, people don't understand money. They don't understand debt. They don't understand anything, and they're being taken for a ride by all the people who apparently understand.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and the fact is nobody understands. Okay, and only a few people understand, and they're called the 0.001% people. Okay,
That's right.
and they don't want the other people to understand, right? So what if we can translate all of this into a one-click experience where you just log in to Awake, like you log into Apple, Facebook, Google, Amazon, and then it just works like magic, where suddenly you get a wallet where everything you do on the internet starts making you money.
Mm.
You share something on Facebook, you share something on 20%. I'll show you how to make money on Cannabis tomorrow or whenever you're ready. Like anybody can. Like you can start literally sharing anybody else's products or service. You could be sitting in India, sending people to some spa here, $300 you get. I mean, dollars. Are you kidding me? Like, I mean, that's the
Right.
future. Like anybody can work with anybody and make any transaction happen. And
Right.
multiple people can split it. This is called true social commerce.
Hmm. Amit, we were just talking about cannabis, one of my favorite topics. And you were talking about how you can make money, in the cannabis world. You and I were talking about if cannabis is legal in India, or how is cannabis even perceived in India. So can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's look, ganja has been around in India forever. Okay.
By the way, what's
It's
the
one of
difference
our
between ganja and hash?
I'm not the expert on these types of questions, but I can tell you the basics of the
Come
whole thing,
on,
right?
man.
So like,
Yeah,
I think that hash has something to do with I don't know, it's not
it's the
my
leftover.
expertise. Yeah, somebody has to just give me the best thing they got, and I'm good with that,
Got
right?
it.
Like I
That's
don't need
fair.
the details. Just give me the best
That's
shit. Like
fair.
that's it,
That's
right?
fair.
Right, right. So,
That's
but now coming back to the answer, right? We've had ganja forever. It is a plant.
right.
Okay, it grows in the jungle and in other conveniently located soil and mud areas. Okay, so that's a plant. You can't stop the damn plant from growing. And there are tons, by the way, this is not the only plant. There's literally thousands of plants and different types of herbs and teas and this and that have all types of different effects on the human mind. Okay, and they're all meant for sugar. If you eat obesity right now, sugar, everybody is fat. Okay, fatty, fat. And then if you do fat shaming, everyone's like, all like, oh, everyone's fat shaming. It's like, yes, that's because you eat a lot, right? Like, okay, 90% of people eat a lot, all right? Like, that's a fact, right? If you just stop eating so much, like, you
Well,
just look at the damn calorie intake.
Americans are dying of overeating while the rest of the world is dying of hunger. I mean, it's quite fascinating.
Now there are 1 in 3 children who are dying of hunger in America.
Which is
Okay,
crazy.
while other people are eating like crazy, and other people are not eating that much because they don't have to eat so much. You can't eat all that money. Okay, so it's not about the money though. You can use the money to generate, wealth creation tools and opportunities for other people. It doesn't have to sit in the bank account because you're going to die. I mean, people forget that. You could die
Right.
tomorrow. You could be dead, like gone.
Sure.
Like, think about it. Just at any time. What is the point of all this shit? Are you kidding me?
What's the point of anything then?
The point of anything is living with perfection and beauty and amazing shit at all times. That's the opportunity. The opportunity is to not see Skid Row. The opportunity in America. The opportunity is not to go to Los Angeles and land there and smell the stench of human rotting, whatever the hell's going on there. I mean, what about this is okay?
Right.
That's the opportunity. The opportunity is to have a superb and amazing dream where everybody is living and a fun, peaceful, glorious life. How's that for a change?
Right. No, listen.
How's that?
I'm with you on all of it. I think what I'm trying to understand is that, there's been so much of a conversation, especially with that whole thing that went down with GameStop and why isn't, that whole thing, that was another level of awakening, I feel, mostly for the middle class, when people were like, okay, the markets are really fixed. Like, we knew it in the back of our heads, but this is like, they're not even hiding it. Like, this is so fixed, right?
Right.
How does America, or how does really any nation in the world, educate its people about money? Like, should money be taught in schools?
Of course, 100%. They have to all be taught that money isn't real, and that there is something called a ledger where things are recorded. Just like they teach you good and bad, they have to teach you credit and debit. Just like you have karma layer, you have to have, they call it karma. There's a company called Good Karma or some, I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
They actually give you a credit score. So, I mean, it's like they need to teach you that basic thing that what goes around comes around. If you spend a lot now, you won't have it later on. Like basic stuff. Like, it's so terrible, the math, education. Right? I mean, it's basic math. I mean, and then come on, you know the culture. I mean, it's a terrible, terrible, terrible disease that has set upon this world, in this part of the universe, in the last 30 years. I mean, just look at the innovations that have come out of Silicon Valley. It used to be the transistor and like all kinds of cool shit. Like Elon Musk is the one guy, I guess. But everybody else, what is it? They're just like buying and selling shit. Like, and what? Extracting out of that and causing these other things, right? Like, how hard is it to buy and sell stuff on the digital internet? So if you figured that out,
right,
should you create the world's biggest extractor if you've just figured out something as basic as connecting people, which is what the internet was meant to do in the first place and was given away for free?
Right.
The internet was created and given away for free. It's the most incredible invention that happened 32 years ago. Since then, what has happened? They weaponized it. I mean, we used to create things that help people.
Right.
What has come out of America in the last few years to help people? Maybe Elon Musk. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's not American, I suppose. Now he is, but you know what I mean. Like, and I'm not a fanboy or anything at all. Like, by no means, right? But I'm just saying, like, just look around. I mean, what is it that is the mark of a civilized society? If it is not society, the opposite is a jungle, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, when I was growing up, when I was little in Pakistan, my dad used to always say, he's like, America is a brilliant country. And I would say, why is that? And he would say, because she's so brilliant, because she buys the brains of the world. Like, that's what she does, right? And she empowers herself with it. Yeah, and it was very, very true, right? And as a kid, I was like, oh, wow, that's really, I'm like, Dad, I don't understand a damn thing you're saying, but I'm sure one day it's going to make sense to me. And as I became an adult, I'm like, that makes total sense. But then, about 5-6 years ago, my ex-boyfriend is a scientist. He's a German scientist. He was here at UCLA. He was one of their top cancer research scientists. You know how much they were paying him, Amit, to be here from fucking Germany, to hear that he had to earn his way to the top? They were paying this scientist with a PhD barely $40,000 a year. Barely. This is UCLA. And I was like, man, that's ridiculous. And he was like, yeah, they say that I got to earn it and this and that. And he was there on the weekends. He was just always working, And I was just like, man, what kind of messed up life is this? When did we stop valuing brains? Like, when did we start doing that? How do we not see value in this? And guess what happened, Amit? Guess what happened? The German government said, we will offer you a 3 million euro grant plus your own lab. Come back and serve your country. Come back in a Western
Yeah.
country. So he did. He
No,
went
so
back.
lots of people are, lots of people are going to do that now. You must have heard of the tax rise. I mean, tax increases that they're planning. I mean, it's just the wrong thing to do.
Yeah. Tax increases.
I'm telling
You
you
talking about
how.
for people? You talking about for people making $400,000 and more? Is that what you're referring to?
I'm talking about the mentality that is based on scarcity and thinking that there is somehow some limited thing, and the job of the government is somehow to scrape it out of people that have, because it's not a limited thing. It's not scarcity, right? They're printing money. In other words, that they fundamentally believe in the abundance economy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they know that this doesn't matter. But then why are you clawing back from here? You either do that and let everybody produce a lot more of everything, because anyway you're printing. What is the point now, right? No, nobody believes in the sanctity of the dollar, right? I mean, it's a fact. You're just going to keep printing and keep paying the interest, right? You're not going to suddenly have enough money to start paying down this debt. It's not going to happen. We're never going to pay down this debt. The debt doesn't matter. That's why you can keep printing it. And what are people going to do? They're just going to start using other currencies. And that is, I mean, there are people like some governor or whatever it was in Florida who was saying that he was, saying we'll take taxes in Bitcoin. It blew my mind. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You are
Well,
a government,
yeah.
you
And
you understand what we're saying here. Because
yeah.
he wants to get elected, everyone's like, yeah, man, like Bitcoin and stuff. And this person is like, like this Marjorie Taylor Greene or whoever was like, yeah, whatever people are saying, I'm your person. And you want to get elected. And it's so depraved that they're willing to basically take Bitcoin as opposed to their own sovereign currency.
Mm-hmm.
Can you believe it? The government is saying that. I mean, this is lunacy, right?
I mean,
So
there was this article that just came out. I think it was this week. They were talking about that top banks are going to offer their high wealth, customers Bitcoin. They're going to offer them Bitcoin, and I was like, oh, how interesting. But this is just for, I guess, their top 1 or top 5% wealthy.
So anybody can buy Bitcoin. You see, Bitcoin is the most decentralized thing, so anyone can buy it. The point that is making is that now even the people who have a lot of US dollars already should take this seriously, because the number of the nominal number is going up, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, like that. It was cents and micro cents before when it started. And people believe that this is the future. But as I just described to you, all currencies have the same properties, other than, oh, it's not Bitcoin and the first one or whatever. I mean, it's an idea and everybody's piled onto it. Like the US dollar. It's just like any other. In fact, it's a terrible currency to have because it's like full of debt, technically speaking.
Yeah.
You see, technically speaking, it's a terrible currency, but yet we think it's the value. In fact, it's going up. It's a very strong currency right now. Right? It's, think about it. Like, isn't that backwards?
I don't understand, Amit. Why do you say it's terrible? I don't understand. It's not like the rupee is fucking killing it. Like, what? I don't understand.
No, I'm saying it's astonishing that it is strong.
Why?
It's
Why
very
is it
strong.
astonishing?
The US dollar is very strong.
Look at the values and the kind of companies and the kind of thing. I mean, America leads the culture.
I'm saying technically speaking, if you believe what the Republicans are saying, right? The country is like a book. It's like a book, right? An account. And now you're in debt. You've got this huge debt that's sitting on top of your economy, and you have to service that debt. We're going to have to pay debt service interest, and it's going to be bigger and bigger parts of our economy as interest rates go up, as they're like beginning to go up. So this is a problem, and because they treat this as a book, like accounts, they have to figure out a way to balance it. So it's an extreme problem. And like Greece, you remember what happened to Greece, right? It was like a shit show for a very long time. So like that, this could very well happen to us. Already there was an event a couple of weeks ago where our debt wasn't bought by people. They were like, you know what? I don't think so. That's a real problem. It's never happened 3 times before in the history. So this is, cracks are appearing, and they're there. I mean, fundamental cracks, as we all know. People don't have food to eat. I mean, it's a fundamental Main Street problem, right? And jobs are not going to come back in a hurry, right? It looks great and this and that, but it's not real. I mean, I'm a capitalist. I need to save this. This is my country we're talking about.
Right.
Okay, so we are building this software to fundamentally fix the economy and to fix the internet, which was a big part of the problem in the first place. I mean, who is not an internet company now? Everybody is.
That's right.
You can't have this problem now, which is, Facebook is bigger than most countries, as is Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple. trillions of dollars now. They're bigger
That's
than
right.
most countries. Forget
That's
about
correct.
countries now. We must be
That's
talking
correct.
about nation states that are technology companies.
That's
Okay,
correct.
and I'm going to tell you, we're going to be the biggest. And the reason we're going to do that is because somebody has to disintermediate everybody else and say, you know what, there is a new network in town which doesn't act like the jungle. It acts like awake, because I'm awake of about what I am and what everybody is. And let's all connect together and work together, and no, everybody else can't just charge 40-50%. They can charge, but then you can go through this channel and it's not that. It's 5%. And everybody else makes 35% of, or 25, 35%, whatever it is. And we split it amongst exactly all the people who should get paid, the 99% of the people you don't want us to know about. I
Right.
mean, fundamental.
Right. Right.
Across the world, multi-currency global. They're already going live in about 18, 19 countries. By 2 quarters, we'll be in like half the world. So it's
Wow.
going like a virus because.
And so now so you guys, and this is an app that people can just follow or download, or how
No,
does
it's
this
not
work?
quite an app. It's not quite an app. So it's like Amazon Web Services. It's a fintech platform. So it's like a
Okay.
bank, more of a bank than anything else. Okay,
Okay.
like a PayPal in some sense. Okay, so you get a wallet, you get an integrated set of networks. You can launch multiple networks, like the Cannabis network I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
In the US, everyone connects to this network. Okay, I'll talk about it. It's called weed. Okay, with a V. Okay, because weed. I say weed is like what? It's like weed. So like, so it's like with a V. So weed.online. If you go to weed.online, it's this new network that's launching on 420. This coming 420, April 20th,
How
and
historical?
it's not,
How historical? 420, baby.
isn't it? So as a gift to the world. So we've announced it last year. We've been building, and now it's going live. And basically, what it does is, you're going to love this. Anybody who is a licensed anything at all in the industry can connect, and they can set pricing, both retail and based on everything else, what anyone can earn on any product. So you can buy a product for $100, earn $30 or $40 if you're happening to share it and do all this stuff and get paid.
Okay.
Any product.
Okay. So if you're a grower, and rather than going to dispensaries and trying to sell it, I mean, you still need distributors, big distributors to come and where you can gonna go and sell your product, correct?
So think of it like a supply chain. Yeah. So everyone connects. It's multi-tier, regulated. All of them are licensed. So there's a B to B to C chain. So if there's
Mm-hmm.
a grower to distributor to brand actually, to then to manufacturer, then distributor, retailer, delivery, all of those people connect. And like a internet network connects everybody else, we're connecting everyone in real time. So when you make the order, even if it's technically speaking, you can actually connect all the people in real time. And everything happens legally, properly, regulated, everything. But it looks and feels as if it's a regular e-commerce operation.
Interesting. How interesting. I mean,
And everyone that makes money. Yeah.
Yeah. How many companies do you currently have operating under you?
So we started Awake. It's quite new. It's unique, Awake. The way it operates, the way it creates companies. It's, what is a company? We changed the definition of what a company is. It is the same kind of thing legally. But what is it to start? It's just a cash flow. And online today, you can start a cash flow with, I just told you, start sharing media. You start generating money. So to start a business now takes nothing other than an internet connection.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Literally, it used to be the case. They said that to us 32 years ago, but that's not the case today. You need money. You need money to pay Facebook, first of all.
Right. So how many companies do you have operating under you?
Sorry, to answer the question, we started close to 30 companies in the last 12-ish months. We'll probably have more than 100 companies this year. And next year, probably a couple hundred companies, maybe 1,000. Because the whole company concept is changing. A network of people is a company. And we're able to capture that value and the whole P&L and everything digitally, globally. Like the bank, I told you. Right? So all the people work for you in a digital manner. It's the future of the gig economy. Think of anybody anywhere in the world now can just work for themselves by connecting through this channel and then using their existing networks, be it on LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, to make money all day long. You can do it in any country you know the language in, or you have interest in any category.
Right. You're absolutely right. I mean, company is, just a group of people generating some, adding value. I get it. Cash flow. That's
Cash
right.
flow. It has to be a positive cash flow. Otherwise, it's a hobby or it's a non-profit or whatever you want to call it, and you have to fund it and this and that and that. But I'm saying to people, boss, the chai wala down the street knows what is the cash flow. Why is it so complicated?
I think people need to know what a chai wala is first. I mean,
I mean, a small shop that's down the street who's running
that
a
sells
little
food.
cafe or,
Right.
a little, like, those little delis that everybody knows and loves in every office building. I mean, those
Yeah.
people are running a business. What else is it? It's a
That's
small
exactly
business. I mean,
right.
it's a cash flow. I mean,
That's right.
the kid with the paper route who's coming and delivering things and making his money, that's a cash flow. I mean, the world is based on cash flow. Why is this so difficult? And you're telling me earlier, you said, there's need everywhere. And wherever
Mhm.
there's need, you can service the need and you can make value for them. And that's, money for you.
Right. Right.
So
So,
when
are
there is
you
only need everywhere, where isn't that the most capitalistic environment you can find?
what? Where there is need?
Yes, because everywhere right now there is need. Everybody needs a job. 100 million people in America or wherever, if you count to maybe a billion in the next 2, 3 years, need a job. Is that the biggest opportunity or not? It's the world's biggest opportunity.
That's a very valid question. I mean, I know that California, versus the rest of the country, has the highest number of entrepreneurs, and I wonder why that is. Why? I mean, I do understand because of the Silicon Tech and all that, but California just tends to have these. It attracts these entrepreneurs like yourself and even myself. I'm an entrepreneur too. That people who just want to venture out and want to do something amazing, want to do something great, add value to people's lives, change something, be passionate about it, but also make money at the same time. So those are, I wonder why that is. Why California? Why not New York or, Vermont? I don't
It's
fucking
the,
know.
it's the same. It's the same reason that people are unique. Why does somebody have certain talents? Why is wine made in Paris and Napa, right? Why is Italy known for certain things? So every place has good and bad qualities, and they're not really good and bad. They're just like different things. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's not necessarily an answer, right? Because this is about people, and people think that that's somehow different, but it's really not. We're all part of nature, and everything is
Mm-hmm.
happening and unfolding as a single thing. And just like these differences exist in regular inanimate objects, they also exist in animate objects. And so there's the same level of gradation, concentration, dispersion that happens in anything else. And it
Yeah.
concentrates in some random areas. And we call that Silicon Valley or we call that something else. It's not the other way around.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Amit, we're gonna start wrapping up. This has been a really hearty conversation. Thank you very much for everything. This has been really informative. Amit, do you like people to follow you on LinkedIn or social media? Are you active on it?
Yeah,
And if
absolutely.
so,
They
where?
should follow me on LinkedIn for sure. Just find me, Amit Rathore, look for Awake VC, and
Okay.
check me out on the website. And yeah, there's lots of cool stuff coming. I mean, we're building some monetization networks for, you can think of every vertical or kind of community. We're thinking about it, including Clubhouse. If you're on Clubhouse, and
Well,
no one's
I
able to
have an
monetize it
Android.
right now.
I have an
Or
Android,
you
and
have
I
an
know
Android.
they said the CEO just came out and said that we are working day and night trying to get the Android app launched. So we'll see.
Hmm. Anyway,
Waiting
so
to hear
for
back.
everyone, we've got something interesting with this new
Right.
model of what we call the internet economy, that people have to understand really what it is, and then
Mm-hmm.
they'll be able to do it. And with us, of course, it's one click, and they'll be able to dive right in, which is very cool. And we can talk about the cannabis thing at some point in time
All right,
later
we
on.
will do that.
And
We
you
will
should
do
check
that.
it out.
Amit, this has been a really great conversation. Thank you very much for your time.
For sure, my pleasure.
Thank you. Take care. That was Amit Rathore. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. I know I definitely did, and I learned a lot. You guys, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. You can go to youtube.com/Mona Sheikh Comedian. Same name on Facebook and TikTok. And you can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Mona's Comedy. Guys, I will be back with a brand new guest tomorrow. Have a good evening. Ew! And by the way, I know, one of the fans asked me to talk about my vaccination. So I got vaccinated today. I actually wanted to get Pfizer or Moderna, but I actually ended up getting Johnson & Johnson. And I wasn't really crazy about Johnson & Johnson, but I saw their efficacy rate and it was pretty high. So I was like, you know what? It's one shot. I'll do it. I've been like a little tired. I've had a little bit of a headache today, but nothing too wild or crazy. That just means I'm getting old. That's what that means. They said the older that you get, the less symptoms you had. So that means I'm old. That's what that means. You guys, I will be back tomorrow with a brand new guest. Have a good evening. Wear your masks. Stay safe out there and get vaccinated if you can. Have a good evening.